Bernard, I remember my first encounter with John Kumar. We were at a youth camp somewhere in Accra, and he was the guest speaker, and he was telling us his life story. That's when I actually got to know him.
Was he that time at NEIP?
Yes, he was.
Okay, so this is quite recent.
Yes.
Between 2017 and 2020.
Yes, just about 2-3 years ago.
No, that would be a few years before because this is 2023. So he became NEIP boss in 2017.
2017.
So between that and 2020.
Yes. So he was NEIP boss.
7 years ago.
So that's why he told us his story where he had contested several elections and lost. What I remember actually was that he had contested a lot of a lot of things and
too
lost
many. He's lost. He finally won. I was telling him
encouraging.
That he's been losing for too long because he ran for too many. He lost. In fact, there was a time in Legon we used to say John Kumar is like, I don't know what's happening to him because he ran for SLC. Yeah. He lost. He ran for Nooks. He lost. He ran for even USAG or something.
He mentioned that.
He lost so many elections and eventually won one.
Yes. And his the moral of that lesson he shared with us was that whenever he lost, he went to prepare.
And move to the next
Whenever
level.
he lost, he went to prepare for the next thing. So that was when he actually told us he was pursuing a PhD and he was going to get awarded a PhD. So we knew about it before it became public. And so he was encouraging the youth to work hard, to be ambitious, but to work hard towards, and that when life throws unexpected defeats at us, we shouldn't stay there. We should move on and get prepared for the next big thing.
Look, it's sad. It's sad because, you know, I don't even know how to say it. It's John Kumar is, you know, he was making all the right inroads. You know, the story, as you said, he has a good story. He started off as a student politician. In fact, from even pre-university, you know, he was in Opokwari school. They were into this regional SRC thing. Yes. So he's always wanted to be a politician. He told me he wants to be a politician. Politics was what he wanted to do. So even though at Legon he did economics, politics was his main thing. He wanted to do politics. And then he was in regional SRC, Young Patriots, MPP. Like he's an MPP guy. Yeah. You know, Legon, I remember distinctly 2001 when the 9/11 occurred. Yeah. And then the US had started attacking Iraq. I remember we even organized a debate. All right, myself, people like him, Mutala, Ibrahim, and co. You know, very active. Everybody in Legon knew John Kumar because they knew he wanted to be SRC president. His running mate was a guy called Abebe. Okay. And then there was also Albert Koshiga, who was also from Commonwealth Hall. And Albert's running mate was Mutala, who was in Legon Hall with John Kumar as well. And then there was a guy.
The same Mutala we know now?
Yes, Mutala, who's the MP for Tamale Central. Then there was Enyima Aka Ekbo, who was in the Kwafu Hall, who eventually won the election. You know, so I knew John Kumar very well because I was a JCL secretary of Legon Hall. So I later on went into the Congress of the Hall, and John Kumar was a member of the Congress as well. He was also a member of the SRC Congress, which I was also a member of. So Kujatua Black, all these young politicians were there at the time. We know him very well. And he's a nice guy.
He is.
You know, he's a nice guy. And he also, in national politics, cut his teeth on Citi because he was a regular on the big issue. So I'm sure Sky and Sanda will tell you about his Saturday appearances on the big issue as well. And it's for me, it's just the other things. He's young. His wife was a pastor. He has 6 kids. He's a young guy, you know. And the people in his constituency talking about his benevolence
and sacrifices. Even with Adreso, he told us his story about how he had attempted a number of times and lost.
You know, he went against a former MP who was a deputy minister of roads, so he was no mean a person that John Kumar went to remove. Yeah. So it's just tragic. And then the other thing is the whole stories around what happened, what could have happened. I remember there was a time we're covering Parliament, and then the team was saying, when I think it was an issue that had to be adjudicated in Parliament, and the NDC, I think it was a vote. And the NDC were saying that the MPP didn't have a quorum because at the time they said they knew John Kumar was not on the floor because apparently they said he had gone for treatment.
Oh,
right. So I remember, I don't know, this is like end of last year. There was a major issue that they were voting on, and then the NDC was quite sure that they had the numbers because I think this was the issue that they said Samuel George was not on the floor, and NDC says no, he was there, but then John Kumar wasn't there rather.
Yes.
So that was the time that they started saying that he was unwell.
Yeah.
I said, what happened to him? And then there was a whole speculation about poisoning and all of that. So you see the Herald does a full story on it. And when you read Want to Miss post as well, it sort of seems to corroborate that there was some issue that happened, and I don't know. And for me, the reason I don't want to go into this is when look, yes, he's a public figure. Yes, we have to go into what killed him. If it was whatever, we have to get into all that. But it's very fresh and raw.
Yeah.
And
it's difficult for the family too.
So I don't even think it's fair the way. I mean, look, public figures or people who are connected to public figures,
they still have families.
You live and die by the public. I mean, so he the story breaks, and in less than 30 minutes, the whole country hears it, right? So imagine if you're his sibling or his father or his wife or his child.
You've not been informed.
You are probably in school, and then you hear on air that your father is dead. It's really serious, But that's what even if you don't hear it on air, you would hear it on social media. So these days, and people sort of move on to the next thing quickly. And there are so many angles to this. He was taken for treatment. He came back. To Parliament. He even went to the new minister, to the Mensia. Yeah. Should he have just taken a break and concentrated on his health? Would that have helped? We don't know. It's just sad. It's just sad. And look, people die every day. Yeah. But when somebody who's known in politics dies like this, it raises a lot of issues. So I don't even know what to say. And
I've been wondering how can we balance this reporting the news and respecting the family sensibilities, and it was
look, to be fair, his PA is talking. If people are in the house, it's already gone. Yeah. So I don't even think it's the media you can blame for this. It's just what it is. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I don't even want to talk about healthcare systems and all of that. I don't even think that's the day. Today's the time for that. It's just a sober reflection of our mortality, and why whatever you get to do it well. And do it with the right conscience and mindset. Because at the end of the day, a good name is better chosen than riches. Right? It's your name and your works that will live after you. So whatever you're doing, do it well, and do it with the right spirit. Do it knowing that tomorrow is not promised. Yeah, that's what I would say. So it's sad. And of course, the whole MPP is devastated. You heard the regional minister talking. Yeah. The president and the vice have all spoken. At a time that the Ministry of Finance is going through some change, the minister himself has handed over to Amin. Yeah. And we are told that Abner had been made the Minister of State, and then John was going to be the deputy, and then a new person, Alexander Pabi, was going to be. So it's the ministry. I'm sure they are also traumatized by now.
I mean, if you read the daily graphic, they detail how Honorable Abner Sasai was very devastated, distraught, very broken, and she was crying in Parliament and all of that.
And Parliament itself, yesterday, they interviewed Atu Forsen and the others. They were pretty rocked. Yeah. They had to suspend sitting for a while. So, I don't know.
I remember in his early days as MP, he did a few things that caught my attention. Were reported in the papers. We reviewed them, where he assembled the professionals in the constituency, put together contractors, and there were some heavy machines that they had assembled and mobilized to fix roads in the Drizzle, and those were done. So when you speak to the constituents, they speak very highly of the work he has done, even in a short period. And these were even things he had done before he was made deputy finance minister. So he's left behind a lot that the people can remember.
Oh yeah, I mean, after that one, the whole catfish thing, NEIP, it's just something. It's just something. Anyway, so I'm sure the other thing though is that when you listen to the news and the speculation, it's pretty serious if what is alleged to have happened did happen. That throws the thing to a whole new dimension. Yeah. And on major platforms everywhere that's been discussed. I don't have enough information to go into it. People have been playing prophecies and things. It's wild. And for me, when the dust settles, I'm sure all these things have to be investigated properly. Yeah. So that the right closure is gotten. That's also important. So whilst we that this is the other thing, because death is such a mystery, people want to also throw everything under the carpet. We also cannot do that. All right. That's why if somebody, for example, dies outside the hospital, you need an autopsy report.
Yeah.
You need to make it a police report because all those things are important. Otherwise, you're going to have lack of closure on the issues.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the authorities are listening to all the speculation, all the different angles that are being put out, and they know exactly what to do. Nothing should be swept under the carpet, because if it is reported by credible media platforms that something occurred to his health and that has led to his death, definitely there has to be an investigation. And I'm sure the police are listening. They read all the stories, and they will know what to do. Of course, we have to just be responsible that we don't make this degenerate into something that is not really what it is. But I think that because of the way this is being reported, the authorities have to also look into it to just be sure that this is a natural cause and that it was not instigated by anybody.
And if it were, then then the law takes its course.
Absolutely, right? Absolutely. It's wow. What a morning.
I know.